Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpa Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we welcome everyone to our ongoing study of the Sri Isopanisad at the level of Bhakti Shastri. And today we're studying Mantra 11. Just a minute. Let's get some water. Vidyam cha yas.
Vidyam cha
Yas.
Advedo bayam saha.
Tadvedo bhayam saha.
Avidyaya mrityam tirva.
Avidyaya mritam tirva.
Vidyayam mritam ashnate.
Vidyamritam ashnate.
Translation. Who would like to read for us? Mataji's first.
Hare Krishna Maharaj and
Yes,
our
Hare
pranam.
Krishna.
Only one who can learn the process of nescience and that of transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessings of immortality.
All right, so let's look at this first, the translation in relation to previous verses. The last two verses, both 9 and 10, were dealing with the cultivation of knowledge, right?
Yes.
We heard about cultivating, studying vidya and avidya and knowledge and nescience. And we heard we get different results. We heard cultivating nescience takes us into the darkest, takes us into ignorance, and cultivating so-called knowledge is even worse. So now we're hearing we have to learn to cultivate both. Learn the process of nescience and that of transcendental knowledge, side by side. Topic which could be easily misunderstood. One may think, well, the process of nescience is what? Manaji, what is the process of nescience?
The process of nations is, it's not the real knowledge.
What is it?
It is the knowledge to live in this material world.
Okay.
It's like the universities and all where it is teaching how to make atom bombs, those sort of knowledge.
Yeah, how to make atom bombs, right? Yeah, good. Okay, anybody else like to tell us more about the process of nescience?
Dandavad Pranam Maharaj.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. As Prabhupada has given nescience as a meaning for avidya, that is ignorance. So basically, if we know what is the process of ignorance, then we know how to come out of that process and go on the right path. So first we should know what is wrong, and then we can try to eradicate the wrong things from the system, and we work on the transcendental knowledge, and we can work for devotional service. Hare Krishna.
You didn't help me to understand what is the process of nescience.
Process of nescience is avidya, like we enter into the system of nescience in which we do the wrong things which does not help in our
So give me
killing
some examples. Tell me what, you just speak theoretically. I want to hear, what is it in terms of actual activity? Give some examples. I want to understand what is meant by the process of nescience. Maraji gave nice explanations. She said about universities, making atom bombs, something more.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Like
Yes.
many people do the worship of the demigods, and they enter into more and more process of material acquisition, and they enjoy the fruits of that, and they again enter into this life cycle, repeated death and birth life cycle. So if you want to come out, then we should understand that this is a nescience and it is ignorance.
Well, that will come, that's going to come in the next section of verses where we talk about worship and faith. But here we're talking about knowledge. You're bringing up something about worshiping demigods. That's going to come up in the next 3 verses. I wanted to know more about the cultivation of knowledge and nescience.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes?
Yeah, see, this verse 9, mantra 9 and mantra 10 talks about avidyam and vidya. Vidya means knowledge of soul and its connection with the God. Whereas nescience is connected with the karma kanda rituals, they will be doing it. Mantra 9 says that when you do only avidya, only karma kanda rituals without the knowledge of soul and its relationship with the Lord, it is useless. You will go to darkness. On the other hand, when you do only that, you attain the knowledge, but ignoring that karma kanda rituals, you will get into more darkness. That was 9 says. And in the 10th mantra 10, the mantra 10 says that when you do that avidyam in this context, it means that karma kanda rituals. And in the present context, in the modern context, it is about materialistic activities, which leads to, which gives some kind of results. And vidya, the knowledge about the soul gives different type of results. And in the level, and the mantra 10 suggests that you should do both simultaneously, side by side.
Well, I don't know if I really agree with what you say that avidya is karmakanda activities or nescience is karmakanda activities. It may be one, karmakanda activities may be one kind of nescience. But there's a lot of other things go on in the name of nescience.
Yeah, the modern world is materialistic. All materialistic activities comes under that.
Okay.
Knowledge about all those materialistic activities and all the profit oriented or result oriented actions all comes under avidyam.
Okay. All right. So we'll go ahead. Maraji, back to Maraji. You can read for us the purport.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Purport. Since the creation of the material world, everyone has been trying to attain a permanent life. But the laws of nature are so cruel that no one has been able to avoid the hand of death. No one wants to die, nor does anyone want to become old or diseased. The law of nature, however, does not allow anyone immunity from old age, disease, or death, nor has the advancement of material knowledge solved these problems. Material science can discover the nuclear bomb to accelerate the process of death, but it cannot discover anything that can protect man from the cruel hands of old age, disease, and death. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. So would you like to comment on this? Well, I think you already did, right? You told us about the atom bomb. Yeah, the misdirected society, that they're looking at the symptoms and they're trying to deal with the symptoms rather than see what is the actual disease. You know, they see the symptoms, oh, old age, oh, death, and they're trying to solve that by material knowledge. They haven't understood what is the real disease. So laws of nature do not allow anyone to escape these things. We see science is advancing. We hear so many things about the advancement of science and technology. But has it solved any of the problems? People are more unhappy than ever. Places are certainly different. We know what was Bahrain like 30 years ago and how is it now? Or South India, what was India like 30 years ago, 40 years ago? How is it now? Things change, but the problems of life don't change. The same problems are there. So nobody's actually seeing what is the real problem of life. This is the problem, which the point being made. Recognizing what is the real problem. So advancement of living hasn't solved any of the problems. We'll go ahead. Another manager can read.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. From the Puranas, we learn of the activities of Hiranyakasipu, a king who was very much advanced materially, wanting to conquer cruel death by his material acquisitions and the strength of his knee signs. He underwent a type of meditation so severe that the inhabitants of all the planetary systems became disturbed by his mystic powers. He forced the creator of the universe, the demigod Brahma, to come down to him. He then asked Brahma for the benediction of becoming Amara, by which one does not die. Brahma said that he could not award the benediction because even he, the material creator who rules all the planets, is not Amara. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 8.17, Brahma lives a long time, but that does not mean he is immortal. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So Prabhupada's giving a scriptural example to support his arguments. The famous
Hiranyakasipu
demon.
Maharaj.
Yes. So he's a classic example of the materialist. He doesn't want to die. And in order to get that, he's willing to go to any extreme. austerities which he underwent. And we see people today also do the same kind of things to get their material desires. They undergo great austerities. Prabhupada describes how to get money, people have to work very hard. They have to make great sacrifices. And sometimes they take great risks, risking their health and their lives just for the sake of trying to increase their bank balance. So this is the nature of material life, trying to get a little more enjoyment, but not recognizing the temporary nature of the world. Okay, we'll have somebody else read. Another Maharaji.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hiranya means gold and Kasipu means soft bed. This cunning gentleman, Hiranyakashipu, was interested in these two things, money and woman, and he wanted to enjoy them by becoming immortal. He asked from Brahma many benedictions in hopes of indirectly fulfilling his desire to become immortal. Since Brahma told him that he could not grant the gift of immortality, Hiranyakashipu requested that he not be killed by any man, animal, God, or any other living being within the 84 lakh species. He also asked that he not die on land, in the air or water, or by any weapon. In this way, Hiranyakashipu foolishly thought these guarantees would save him from death. Ultimately, however, although Brahma granted him all these benedictions, he was killed by the personality of Godhead in the form of Narasimha, the Lord's half lion, half man incarnation, and no weapon was used to kill him, for he was killed by the Lord's nails. Nor was he killed on the land, in the air, or in the water, for he was killed on the lap of that wonderful living being, Narasimha, who was beyond his conception. Hare Krishna.
So Prabhupada is giving us a summary of the pastime, the appearance of Lord Nrsingadev, how Lord Nrsingadev comes to meet all the benedictions given by Lord Brahma and to defeat the demon. So whatever plan man makes, Maya will destroy it, right? Krishna comes to destroy the plans of the foolish materialists. We're always planning. We have our plans, but Krishna has his plans. Ultimately, his plan is for all of us to come back to him. So he arranges these kind of situations, maybe not quite to the extent of Hiranyakashipu, but certainly Krishna arranges for each and every one of us to try to help us to come closer to him, to understand him, and to know he's present and he cares about us. He's waiting for us to come back to him. So Hiranyakashipu, he met his fate, and his fate was that he should go back to Godhead, right? He's a doorkeeper, he's a gatekeeper from Vaikuntha. So Krishna wants him to go back. So he arranged this whole pastime. But we can see also how the pastime and the appearance of Lord Nrsingadev is very instructive to all of us who have materialistic plans and ambitions, to show us how temporary it all is. Just like Prahlad Maharaj recognized how his father had become very powerful. He was sitting on Indra's throne as the king of heaven, but next minute he was dead. Finished. Everything taken from him. So it just takes one moment. The heart attack, or the sudden blood pressure, rise in blood pressure, and you can go. We can leave the body very quickly. We had one devotee family. The lady, one morning, the phone rang and she came rushing downstairs to get the phone because she was worried about her father. And she rushed so much, she got to the phone, picked up the phone and collapsed dead. Very suddenly. Nobody, we never thought she had any health problem at all. Just very suddenly, she left the world. So the material body is like that. It's also temporary. We have no guarantee how long we will live here. You can say, oh, I'm still young, I'm not old yet, or I'm in good health. We don't know. At any moment it can go. We can go. We just lost one of our very dear devotees, the devotee in charge of Gujarat, Yashomati Nandan. Jayapataka Swami Maharaj was telling how he called him up to speak to him while he was in the hospital, because he'd been in hospital for a few days with the COVID. So Jayapataka Swami gave him a courtesy call, and he was saying, yeah, I'm okay, I think it's all right, I'm going back to temple soon. And he was actually back to the temple, but then suddenly he left the body. So the material world is like that. We're all very temporary in this world. We don't know how long we will, anytime we may have to go. So Parikshit Maharaj asked, what is the duty of one who's about to die, and what is the duty of all men at all time? And the answer was the same. So we have to understand the nature of this world. We'll go ahead. Next, some men can read.
Pranam Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
The whole point here is that even Hiranyakasipu, the most powerful of materialists, could not become deathless by his various plans. What then can be accomplished by the tiny Hiranyakasipu of today, whose plans are thwarted from moment to moment? Hare Krishna.
Go ahead, read a bit more.
Sri Isopanisad instructs us not to make one-sided attempts to win the struggle for existence. Everyone is struggling hard for existence, but the laws of material nature are so hard and fast that they do not allow anyone to surpass them. In order to attain a permanent life, one must be prepared to go back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
So what is meant here when it talks about one-sided attempt?
Without Hare Krishna Maharaj, without understanding the real purpose of life, that is to go back to Godhead by doing a devotional service, we covered by Maya, we think that by becoming more and more powerful materially, we will be advancing and we will not be dying any day. And everybody thinks like that without thinking his next moment. So it is a one-sided attempt for existence. Even people spend a lot of money on cosmetics when they are in good health, and when health goes bad, they spend a lot of money in hospitals to survive. But law of nature are so hard and fast that we cannot overcome that, and the person live permanently. Nobody can live. Hare Krishna. Maharaj.
So one-sided. Which side? Most people are on which side?
Most people on material side. That
Trying
is with
to
Maya,
improve.
not with Krishna. Not Krishna side. On other side, that is Maya.
So why are they struggling hard?
Because we have no understanding of real knowledge. So unless we get real knowledge, understanding, we will continue working on what is being taught to us by the present society and present education. And we think that is the progress and that is the purpose of life, to enjoy, earn, and that's all.
But I don't understand why they struggle hard. Why is there struggle? Where is the struggle? Seems like you have very nice. You drive the car, go to work. You just drive you go here, go there, and everything is laid on. You know, you have air conditioners in your home. You have so many facilities. Where's the struggle? Hasn't technology taken away the struggle?
It appears like technology is helping us in that struggle, but to achieve those two ends, to earn the money, person gets up early morning and he does not remember God, he does not do any devotional service, but he try to prepare himself to go to his office, work there for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 16 hours, and they earn the money, and from that he want to buy the happiness, but happiness does not come by that, and whole life goes into that cycle. Once he get his family, then he get into the family's maya, and then he thinks I am becoming big man. I will put my children in a good education, good university, and then they go for marriage of that. They want to show off in the society. So to keep that, to maintain that status, person have to work really very hard, and they get sleepless night and they enter into the high blood pressure and other medical conditions. So that is the struggle. Whereas the animals, they do not think of the next moment, and still God is feeding them, and so the devotees. Like when the person is in devotional service, he is not bothered about his food and other normal things, because he is sure that ultimately God is going to provide him. If we are in devotional service, that is assured. Hare Krishna Maharaj. That is my small little understanding.
Yes, I think it's nice. What you said is good. And also, I think also lack of security there. Although you have job, there's no real security. How long you can keep the job? Because you
Yes,
don't
Maharaj.
know.
Yes, Maharaj.
So a lot of struggle. And what are these laws of nature? The law of material.
Law of material nature is who is born, he is going to die, and the body will grow, and Jara Vyadhi will come to him one day. Nobody will escape from the Jara Vyadhi. That is the law of nature.
Okay. One who takes birth has to die, yeah?
Yes, Maharaj.
Any other laws of nature?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, this is the material world is temporary.
Yes.
The Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, this is Dukalema Shashwatam.
Okay, so that's a law of nature, is it?
Yeah.
Not everybody will agree.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, the law of our nature means that we are bound by the three gunas and all our activities are based on that.
Yes, right. Yes, the three gunas. Law of karma also.
Law of karma, yes.
All right, we'll go ahead. Someone else to continue reading, please. Another gentleman.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. The process by which one goes back to Godhead is a different branch of knowledge, and it has to be learned from revealed Vedic scriptures such as the Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam. To become happy in this life and attain a permanent blissful life after leaving this material body, one must study the sacred literature and obtain transcendental knowledge. The conditioned living being has forgotten this eternal relationship with God and has mistakenly accepted the temporary place of his birth as all in all. The Lord has kindly delivered the above mentioned scriptures in India and other scriptures in other countries to remind the forgetful human being that his home is not here in this material world. The living being is a spiritual entity and he can be happy only by returning to his spiritual home. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Okay, so we hear home. Home is where the heart is, right? We have a saying like that. I don't know if you know that one, but we say home is where the heart is. We
Yes,
always
Maharaj.
like to be at home. So people are naturally attached to their homes. Is there any problem with that?
No,
Natural, right?
natural God.
But at the same time, sometimes the scriptures warn us not to be too much attached to the home. We're told the home and the family, they're all fallible soldiers. They cannot save us. So sometimes there's scriptural references like that. Why is that?
Because our original home is with the God.
I'm sorry, I could not hear that comment. Was the comment there?
Yes, Maharaj. I think it is because our permanent home, our original home is with the Lord.
Our permanent home's with the Lord, huh? So Krishna doesn't want us to get too much attached to this home.
Yes, He wants us to go back to Him.
Of course, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, you know, if you know the Vaishnava songs, there's the one song, Shuddha Bhakata. And he's describing about all the items which are favorable to devotional service. Do you know that song? Shuddha Bhakata Charanarenu Bhajanan. So there's 6 items about surrender, and one is to accept everything favorable for devotional service. So in that song, Shuddha Bhakata is describing all things favorable to devotional service, and he mentions, and there's one verse where it says, "Yedina grehe bhajana deke greheti golokabaya." He says, when I'm in my home and I worship the deity, then what happens? Grehite golokabaya. My home is just like the spiritual world. So that's Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He's telling us, his home is not, well, but in contrast, there's other references like Prahlad Maharaj was speaking to his father, and he was telling his father, he said, Greha andakupam. Greha andakupam. He said, you're like someone who's fallen in the well. The Greha, your home, is like a andakupam. It's a blind well. You fall in the well, very hard to get out, Many animals, they fall in the well, they never get out. They just die in the bottom of the well. So there's 2 sides to the home. Home can be good, home can be a problem. It depends how we use it. This is what we're learning from the Isopanisad. Just like knowledge, there is this knowledge. We could say nations, and we could say it's useless, but we can also use it in the service of Krishna. Prabhupada was not against technology. He said we should use it all in the service of Krishna. You know, nowadays we have to use a lot of technology. Just like right now, giving class, we're using technology. We have to use these things in the service of Krishna. But we know also there's a lot of abuse. There's a lot of ways in which people use technology for very bad ways, very ways which do a lot of harm to the world, to society. So we have to know how to use everything properly. So the home is also like that. Home life can be blissful and good and happy, but we should be in Krishna consciousness. You go to sometimes in the home, it's all arguing and passion. One of our devotee ladies wrote to me recently. You know, she has 4 children. Mind you, they're kind of grown up. They're not so young. They're like teenagers anyway. And she said, I can't chant any rounds in the morning because I'm so hectic every morning. I have to do so many things. I have to cook. I have to, you know, so many things to take care of in the morning. And she also works. But she said, I chant my rounds every evening. Not very good, not very ideal, but you know, better than not chanting. At least she does chant. She does her spiritual practice. But she said in the morning, the daytime, too busy, so much to be done. So we have to find the balance between these two things. At least she manages to get some time to do her chanting. So Prabhupada is talking here about the process to go back home, a different branch of knowledge. We have to learn it from the right place. What kind of people do we have to hear this knowledge from?
Dhiras.
Dhiras, meaning?
A sober person.
Sober
Sober person
spiritual
who
master.
doesn't get affected.
Sober? He didn't
Yes.
drink, right? He's not drunk. He's sober. In what way is he sober?
He does not get affected by the material.
Yes,
opulence.
right. He's equipoised, right? He doesn't rejoice or lament. He's equipoised. He's sober-minded. He's above, you can say above the modes. He's not influenced by the modes of nature. So to become happy in this life and attain a permanent blissful life after leaving this body, we must study that literature and get knowledge. Important for us, just like you're all doing Bhakti Shastri, very good. It's a good way to study the literature. As we study it on our own, it's never quite the same. But when we study in a group, then we get more. We learn usually more that way. And as a course, then there's some requirements, right? We have to study. If we do it on our own, we're very slack about it. So it's a good way to get the devotees to read the books, to read Prabhupada's books. Very important. Not every devotee reads, but when we do Bhakti Shastri course, then it gets you reading. You should be reading, looking at the book and learning. So very important for us to study these books and get the knowledge, learn something. Krishna describes 4 reasons why people surrender to him, right? Who knows?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Let Mataji speak. Mataji was there first.
Artha, Artharthi, Jnani and Jignasi Maharaj.
Right, so tell me in English.
Though Artha means desiring some material benefit or some material desire. And Artharthi who is in distress. Sorry, Artha is a distress and Artharthi is for some benefit. And Jnani is knowledge and Jignasu inquisitiveness.
Okay, so which one is the best? Or they're all bad? Are they all bad, or is there any one better than the others?
Yeah, Jnanis are better than.
Why?
Because they try to know about the Lord by learning the scriptures.
Yes, yes, the Gyani is the best because he's got some knowledge. He's actually if we've got some knowledge, just like people may chant, many people may chant, and some people know why they're chanting, they know about it, and some people, they don't know anything, they just chant. So the one who actually knows what he's doing and the process, understands the process, he'll get more benefit than the one who's just chanting and doesn't know anything. But of course, everybody gets some benefit, but the one who actually knows and who understands the process, you'll get more benefit. This is the point. That's why we want to read the books, we want to learn. Then when we chant, we'll get more benefit. We'll understand, we'll come closer to Krishna. And Krishna is also attracted to those who have knowledge. People who come and worship him for wealth or in distress or just curious, they're not so pleasing to Krishna. But the ones who have some knowledge, they're more dear to Krishna. Krishna appreciates them better. So the conditioned living being has forgotten his relationship with God and has mistakenly accepted the temporary place of his birth as all in all. Right? Prabhupada is paraphrasing a sloka from the scriptures. It says, Yashatma buddhi guna petri dakude swadi kala tradishu boma ichati. Right? We're thinking the land in which we took our birth is worshipable. We identify with the body, we identify with the country we're born in. We love our country, okay. But it can be in Krishna consciousness. Right? This life we're born in one country, next life we're born in another country. Previous life we were in other country. You know, we don't know. But we've forgotten our eternal relationship with the Lord. And so the Lord made arrangements for us to try to remind us. He came himself, he spoke Bhagavad Gita, and in other countries, they've also got scriptures. The living being can be happy by going to his spiritual home. And we see these scriptures, they all speak about that. In Buddhism, they have a thing called the Western world. They talk about the Amitofo land or the Western world. And in Christianity, they talk about going to heaven. And for the Mayavadis, they want to go to the Brahman. And so we also have our spiritual home, right? We want to go there.
Yes, Maharaj.
But devotees, we're also dependent on Krishna. Actually, what we really want is devotional service. We don't just want to go to home. Sometimes we think, I'll go home, I'll have a good rest. Right? Just like in material world, you go home, I want to go home and have a rest. So we don't go to the spiritual home just to have a good rest. We go to the spiritual home. Why? What are you going to do there?
Devotional
Devotional
service, Maharaj.
service.
Yes, right. Devotional service. We're going to do more hearing and chanting, right? There's a lot of things going on there. A lot of activity, maybe more Sankirtan and so many things. Anyway, when we go there, they'll give us a spiritual body. So we won't feel tired like we do with this material body. Material body is always tired. But when we get a spiritual body, we won't feel that tiredness anymore. That's a big difference. Okay, we'll go ahead. Another gentleman like to read?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. From his kingdom, the personality of Godhead sent his bona fide servants to propagate this message by which one can return to Godhead. And sometimes the Lord comes himself to do this work. Since all living beings are his beloved sons, his parts and parcels, God is more sorry than we ourselves to see the sufferings we are constantly undergoing in this material condition. The miseries of the material world serve to indirectly remind us of our incompatibility with dead matter. Intelligent living entities generally take notes of these reminders and engage in themselves in the culture of Vidya or transcendental knowledge. Human life is the best opportunity for the culture of spiritual knowledge, and a human being who does not take advantage of this opportunity is called a Naradhama, the lowest of human beings. Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhu, man, I will ask you, Prabhu, can you tell me what the miseries of the human body? Is it really that bad? Do you feel miserable in your body?
Yes, Maharaj.
What kind of miseries do you feel?
This Adibhautik, Adhyatmic, and all three miseries, and this three modes of material nature binds us. And Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, this is the major miseries.
Well, sometimes people may say to us, they may say, you know, if there's really this God, why he made the world like this? There's so much suffering. Why didn't he make the world a better place? We're suffering so much, we're just suffering all the time, miseries, and why he made the world like this? What kind of God is this? He makes the world, it's all suffering. He's not a very good creator.
This is actually mercy of Lord, Maharaj, because we can remember Lord. If we suffer only, we remember Lord and can go back. Try to go back again, God, go back, God.
Oh, you're saying we have to suffer?
Of course.
But, sometimes I look at the world, it seems like some people are suffering, but not everybody's suffering. Seems like there's people enjoying.
Yeah, it is because of their previous karma, Maharaj. And it is not real enjoying actually. Everything is it come back. So suffering and happiness and distress, both it's changes, keep on changing. This is the nature of material world.
Okay. Yes. I mean, he says he's the father, we're his sons. You think he'd take better care of his sons, right? I'm sure you have a son, you would take care of him nicely. So shouldn't God, if He's our Father and we're all His sons, He should be taking good care of us?
Yes, Maharaj.
But we're suffering here. He gave us this COVID virus. We're all suffering. What kind of God is this?
If we are happy here, we will keep ourselves here only. We will not try to come out of this world, Maharaj.
Well, Lord Chaitanya said he wanted to stay here. He said he didn't want liberation. He said he just wanted devotional service, birth after birth. So, seems like some people want to stay here. Right?
Yes.
What's the difference?
Bhakti, Maharaj.
Huh?
Bhakti. The person who's serving the Lord can serve anywhere, whether he is in Swargaloka or Narkaloka or Bhuloka. If he is into Krishna consciousness life, then he will serve the Lord anywhere.
But he doesn't suffer? If he's serving the Lord, he doesn't suffer?
He suffers, but even that suffering is a part of, he takes it as a mercy of the Lord.
So it's how he accepts the suffering that makes the difference, you're saying.
Yes.
That one person becomes very disturbed when they're suffering, and the other person accepts it as the grace of the Lord.
Yes.
So if we get the COVID virus, we just take it as Krishna's mercy.
We have to, Maharaj. We have to take our precautions, but that beyond that, if we get, then certainly we have to accept that, probably we were supposed to get this, and it's again the mercy of the Lord.
So the material miseries which happen to us, it's all the mercy of the Lord.
Not, it depends on the, no, Maharaj, because when I was linking this, I was purely, but then, all the things, like it can be from the previous karmas also, we'll have to face this. So both things.
Also karmas are there, right? A devotee considers,
and one more thing, Maharaj.
Yes.
Yeah, they're purely, they are not in bodily conscious. They will be in spiritual conscious. So that's why they don't feel much suffering here.
So they're not in bodily consciousness, but they're still suffering. Is it? They still suffer.
Yeah, they still suffer.
But they're not bothered about it.
Yes, Maharaj.
Because they're Krishna conscious.
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay, they accepted miseries as the grace of Krishna. And they accept it due to their karma. Yeah. Yeah, there's a verse like that in the scriptures, right? In Srimad Bhagavatam, we read about this. One who accepts all reactions, one who accepts all miseries to be reactions due to his past deeds, but goes on engaging in my devotional service, then he's qualified to become my unalloyed devotee. Right? Dayabak is because he's accepting the miseries. He accepts it. He just goes on. He understands miseries are not eternal. For some time there'll be misery, it'll be followed by happiness. Happiness and distress, they come together like two sides of a coin. Happiness comes, and then it's followed by distress. The distress comes, it's followed by happiness. No reason to lament. Don't be disturbed. All right, we'll go ahead. Somebody read. Oh, wait, Prabhupada was talking about the Naradama, the lowest of human beings, right? You know about the Naradamas, 4 kinds of people who never surrender to Krishna. We heard about the miseducators. Remember the 2 kinds of miseducators? What were they?
Vedavadaratas and Maya Jnana.
Yeah, Vedavadarata, meaning one people who just mouth the Vedas. And the Maya Aparita Jnana, meaning?
As mental speculators.
What?
Speculators' marriage.
One whose knowledge is stolen by illusion. Yes. Right. So here we have Naradama, lowest of men. So can you tell me what is Naradama? Why is he the lowest of men?
So because he has a human birth, which is an opportunity to know about the Lord and his relation, but still he is not utilizing the opportunity. So he is called the lowest of human being. Narad.
Right. Yes. May be born in what kind of family? What kind of family would he be born in?
In next life marriage?
No, in this life, before. As a Naradama. Why? You know, because he had a good birth, right?
Yes, ma'am.
He has a good birth, but he doesn't take advantage. So what's the good birth?
Good birth, taking birth in the devotee family?
Yeah, he may even be born in a devotee family and he may give up devotional service. Or may be born in the Brahmana family like that, devotee, but they grow up, they don't take advantage of what they learned. Sometimes we see people like that. They're born in as not so much born in a family, but somehow their parents become devotees. And somehow the children, they just don't take an interest. They don't like it they don't get into it so much. And they grow up and they become, you know, not interested. Although they have the culture, they had the training as children, but when they grow up, they don't want to be devotee somehow. Oh no, I just want to work, I just want to make money, I just want to enjoy myself. I don't want to be devotee. I'm not going to be a devotee. We get sometimes people like this. They had a good chance to be devotees. They're born in a nice family, nice education, but they don't take advantage. Very unfortunate. All right, we'll go ahead. Prabhu, please read.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. The path of avidya or advancement of material knowledge for sense gratification is the path of repeated birth and death. As he exists spiritually, the living entity has no birth or death. Birth and death apply to the outward covering of the spirit soul, the body. Death is compared to the taking off and birth to the putting on of outward garments. Foolish human beings who are grossly absorbed in the culture of avidya, science, do not mind this cruel process. enamored with the beauty of the illusory energy, they undergo the same miseries repeatedly and do not learn any lesson from the laws of nature.
Okay, yeah. So Prabhupada's explaining about changing the body, path of avidya, advancement of material knowledge. It's a path of repeated birth and death. If we just cultivate the avidya, we just cultivate the material knowledge only, we don't have any spiritual aspect in our life, then sure, you take another body, birth after birth. So Prabhupada is explaining, foolish human beings, they're absorbed in avidya, and they don't mind the cruel process. Everybody knows we're going to die. Everybody knows, they don't do anything about it. They don't think about it. They just, oh, I'll worry about it when it comes. That's sometimes what they say, eh? When we tell them the story of Ajamil, then they say, oh, okay, when I'm going to die, I will also chant the holy name of the Lord. Is that possible?
Not possible.
Why not?
They have practice. Krishna doesn't give. Because if we practice only, Krishna gives the memory.
Yes. At the time of death, we'll think about all the things we've done throughout our life. We won't be able to think about chanting. We've not practiced it throughout our life, then it will be impossible for us to chant at the time of death. But some people are so foolish, and so stubborn, that even though we explain these things to them, they won't do it. Right? Prabhupada told the story how the son is saying to the mother, chant, chant, chant. And what's she saying?
Can't.
Yeah, mother is saying, can't. Say Hare Krishna, mother. And she says, what does she say? The boy says, say Hare Krishna, say Hare Krishna. And the mother looks at him and says, I cannot say so many things. She can say, I cannot say so many things, but she cannot say Hare Krishna. So that's the unfortunate soul. But some souls are fortunate. Some people are fortunate. Not all, not everybody. So death, Prabhupada is describing death, the change of garments. We have to change the garment, change the body. So that's what death is. The change, just like it changed the body. I remember His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami some years ago, he had a heart problem. So his disciples in Ujjain, they were very worried and they were, really upset, worrying about him. And he said to them, he said, why are you crying? He said, if you get a new car, you don't cry. Right? You get a new car, nobody's crying, you're all happy. Want to go and drive in the new car, have a look at the new car. So the body is just like a car. Or here, the Prabhupada says, the clothing, the garments, same thing, the vehicle. The body is the covering of the soul. So you change the covering only. Change of covering. That's all death is. So you get a new body, a new dress, a new garment. No reason to lament. But people in the bodily consciousness of life, they lament. They want to enjoy the body forever. Okay, the beauty of the illusory energy, enamored by the beauty of the illusory energy, they undergo the same miseries repeatedly. What is that beauty of the illusory energy? Please tell me, someone. Anyone?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes, Prabhu?
Can I put up one example?
Yes, please.
Like in a Vrindavan, when Putana came, she came in such a beautiful form, and all the Brajvasis and Gopis, they thought like she is goddess Lakshmi herself. So that is the illusory energy by which things work, and people, we think like a Lakshmi, but she is really a demonic nature person, and came to kill the Krishna. But everybody thought like it is the love of Lakshmi which is bringing her here, and to see the Krishna, she has come.
Okay.
So Maya is so powerful, and it can change our mind with the cosmetics.
But, so Putana, by her mystic power, she could appear like a gopi. Of course, she was lucky. She wanted to be like a gopi, so she got to be a gopi in the spiritual world. Krishna took her to the spiritual world to be, because he thought, well, she's come here dressed like a devotee. She looks like a devotee. She can go with the devotees. When the devotees die, they go back to Godhead. So Putana also went back to Godhead. Okay, good. Any other examples? The beauty of the illusory energy?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. One
Yes.
more, this Indra, once he cursed by this one, he came to here and he born as a boar, pig. So he was enjoying too much here. So that is the illusory energy. He doesn't want to come back. Narada Muni came and told, you are Indra, the king of heaven, you come back. But he didn't accept it. I am here happy, and I am too much, my area is very big. Like that he was here. So that is the illusory energy of Maya. Maharaj.
Okay. Yeah. Indra cursed by Brihaspati to become a pig. And he's so happy in the pig body, right? And what happened? What did Brihaspati do? Did he leave Indra in the pig body?
No. He was happy with, yeah.
What happened?
He was happy with his this Janma, the pig Janma.
Yeah, but what did Brihaspati do to save him? He brought the butcher.
Yeah.
The butcher came with a big knife and he said,
Yes.
Where's that big fat pig? And that was Indra.
Yes.
So when the butcher came with the big knife, then Indra changed his mind. He said, okay, I'll come with you. Take me with you. So the beauty of the illusory energy, Prabhupada talks just like different cities. They put all these lights up everywhere, the lights, the bright lights, and it's neon signs and so many things, just to attract everyone, to absorb everyone's mind. Nowadays, when you drive everywhere, they have so many advertisements and they have these different screens with pictures going on them and everything. You know, just to attract people's minds and absorb their mind in the beauty of the illusory energy. And we're thinking, oh, very nice. And we forget about all the problems of life. So we have to be very careful not to be too much attracted by the illusory energy. Always remember how temporary it all is. Okay, well, go ahead. Someone else
Maharaj,
can read.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
The path of avidya, or advancement of material knowledge,
That
or
is over,
sense
Prabhu.
sorry. Therefore, the culture of vidya or transcendental knowledge is essential for the human being. Sense enjoyment in the diseased material condition must be restricted as far as possible. Unrestricted sense enjoyment in this bodily condition is the path of ignorance and death. The living entities are not without spiritual senses. Even every living being in his original spiritual form has all the senses which are now materially manifested, being covered by the material body and mind. The activities of the material senses are perverted reflections of the activities of the original spiritual sense. In his diseased condition, spirit soul engages in material activities under the material covering. Real sense enjoyment Real sense enjoyment is possible only when the disease of materialism is removed. In our pure spiritual form, free from all material contamination, real enjoyment of the senses is possible. Patient must regain his health before he can truly enjoy sense pleasure again. Thus, the aim of human life should not be to should not be to enjoy perverted sense enjoyment, but to cure the material disease. Aggravation of the material disease is no sign of knowledge, but a sign of avidya, ignorance. For good health, for good health, a person should not increase his fever from 105 degree to 107 degrees, but should reduce its temperature to the normal 98.6. That should be the aim of human life. The modern trend of material civilization is to increase the temperature of the feverish material condition, which has reached the point of 107 degree, 107 degrees in the form of atomic energy. Meanwhile, Meanwhile, the foolish politicians are trying that any moment the world may go to hell. That is the result of the advancement of material knowledge, neglect of the most important part of life, the culture of spiritual knowledge. The Isopanisad herein warns that we must not follow this dangerous path leading to death. On the contrary, we must develop a culture of spiritual knowledge so that we may become completely free from the cruel hands of death.
Okay, can you tell me, please, what is this aggravation of the material disease?
Aggravation of material disease because people here they try to prolong their existence. They are doing some activity which will make their life more worse. That means they want to extend their life of miserable condition. That is what I.
How do they do it? How does it happen?
By unrestricted sense enjoyment.
I'm sorry?
Unrestricted sense enjoyment, Maharaj.
Oh, more
So,
sense, unrestricted sense enjoyment. Okay, yeah.
and that
Yeah,
actually that is the source of because of the avidya. So this is no sign of knowledge, but a sign of ignorance.
okay. So can you give us an example in very basic terms about how people may aggravate the material disease? What would they be doing?
Yeah. Because they try to enjoy their senses in a perverted way.
How do they
So
enjoy?
yes, Maharaj, you didn't get
How
it.
do they enjoy? Tell me. What do they do to enjoy? How do people enjoy? You know, you tell me. I mean, I want to understand. What is this enjoyment in a perverted way? Give me some example. What do they do? I can't imagine.
So in the example, we can say that people will start from the avidya. Actually, avidya, when it is in exist, when the material, the material condition starts with an avidya, and that avidya actually makes one's believe that he is whatever he is the body, and he is always ignorant of the soul, and his mind is totally engrossed with so many sense enjoyment. For example, you want to see a movie, or you want to see some kind of music, and you try to give pleasure to his senses. So that is the way he continued to continue his existence here by his continuously he's giving pleasure to his senses, Maharaj.
Okay, but we have, Prabhupada gives the example about the fever, you know, increasing the fever. How do they go about doing that?
Fever. So Prabhupada is giving example here for good health. One must have a normal 98.6 degree Fahrenheit, but he should not increase the fever from 105 degrees to 107 degrees.
So tell me, what do they do which increases the fever?
Because of material condition that actually aggravates their feverish condition. Because of that propensity to enjoy the material nature, that actually increases their feverish condition, material condition. That is what Srila Prabhupada is comparing with the
yeah, I would just like you to tell me in clear language, you know, just so I can understand very clearly what they're doing to enjoy this material. I mean, you said go and see a film, listen to music. It sounds very tame to me. You know, if that's all they did, you know, I mean, I don't see how that increases the fever. You just go to watch a movie or you see a film or something. Is that really increasing the fever?
That is what I believe is that, Maharaj, that whenever we try to enjoy more, because of the lust is not satisfied. And that lust is just like in Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned that the lust is burning like a fire. And actually, to quench the quest, this thirst of this lust, so the human being, they try to enjoy the senses to the fullest, so that they think that the lust will be satisfied. But that lust is never satisfied, and that actually increases his desire to enjoy more and more. That is actually, I believe that the feverish material condition is.
Did you see anybody like that? Did you ever know anybody like that who could never satisfy their lust?
Yeah, it's me also. My example I can give. So even there are so many things, the anarthas are there with me. It is not going. Still, I am in the Krishna consciousness. Still, it is not going up. So that is still it is existing with me. There are many. There are some bad habits. Still, it is persisting with me. But it's not going up. So this is one of the example. For example, there is a propensity to read some material books. So that is actually long before it should have gone, but still it is continuing with me sometimes. So this is one of the example I can give of myself, Maharaj.
Okay. Anyway, it seems like your bad habits are not very bad if you just read a book sometimes. I'm sure that there's a lot more worse things people can do. You know.
This is one of the examples of Maharaj, but there are so many others also. It is still existing with me, and
okay.
still I pray to Srila Prabhupada, Guru and Gauranga to help me out of this.
Okay, anyway, we're told not to aggravation of the material disease.
Hold more than what is required, Maharaj.
Sorry?
To hold more than what is required.
Hold more than what is required?
Yeah, like probably one comes to Middle East to earn money for some X amount of money, but then they continue for their lifetime earning more than for next 2-3 generations to come through. Like
Okay.
they
Yeah.
increase the temperature.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, it's a
Hare-
sense of doership. When you have, whatever the material activity we do, when we do with a sense of doership, then we will do more and more. When we say that it's the Krishna who is going to be the enjoyer, there will be moderation. Over the period of time, we'll be able to give it up also. So in the increase of temperatures, because we have the sense of doership.
Okay. Thank you. Marriage, you wanted to say something?
Yes, Maharaj. Is it meditating, intoxication, gambling, and illicit sex?
Yeah.
That,
Yes. What about them?
that will increase this materialistic affinity, and it will
Yes.
increase the fever.
Definitely. Yes. Very true. So Sri Isopanisad said we should not follow the dangerous path leading to death. Why is it dangerous? What's the danger? Leading to death.
It is dangerous because it keep on makes us again take birth and death in the cycle. It makes us.
We may lose the valuable human body, become an animal or a tree.
Yes.
Right? So that's the danger. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
That we have the valuable human life. If we don't use it properly, next life there's no guarantee where we will take our birth. And we saw even some Jad Bharat had to become a deer for some time. So dangerous. And many people, they're so attached to their factory and their office, they come back again, take birth again in the office as a mouse or rat or something. So that's the danger. We lose a valuable human life. We'll go ahead. Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Maharaj, Dandat Pranam. This does not mean that all activities of the maintenance of the body should be stopped. There is no question of stopping activities, such as there is no question of wiping out one's temperature altogether when trying to recover from a disease. To make the best use of bad bargain is appropriate expression. The culture of spiritual knowledge necessitates the help of the body and mind. Therefore, maintenance of the body and mind is required if we are to reach our goal. The normal temperature should be maintained at 90 degrees, and the great sages and saints of India have attempted to do this by a balanced program of spiritual and material knowledge. They never allow the misuse of human intelligence for the diseased sense gratification. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so Prabhupada says, no question of wiping out one's temperature altogether. Just like there's the story is there. The boy had the fever, so they sent for the doctor. The doctor came, gave him an injection, and the boy died. So they said, oh, the boy, he's dead. Doctor said, a fever is gone, no more fever. right? This is a doctor, foolish doctor. He said, the fever's gone, no more fever anymore. They said it's dead. So some people are like that. You see, they want to wipe out the temperature altogether. Trying to recover from a disease. This is the Mayavadi, impersonalist. They want to make everything zero, stop everything. Nothing, everything, nothing is real. Everything is illusion, all Maya. Go away from the world. Go and sit in the cave. This is wiping out the temperature altogether, turning away from the world. So we want to know how to recover from the disease. So, what is the right way to recover from the disease?